It's like a vacuum space of nothing.
Eric?
And sometimes, and unless you are in another state of mind, will you be able to think. But in your original base mind state, the one that you're primitively born with, it's discombobulated. It's simply like a bunch of ideas like wrapped around together, and you can't even voice your thoughts because whenever you try to, you forget them. You simply forget the connections because you don't have enough focus, you don't have enough concentration. You simply break down. That's how
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
like being on acid, man.
Okay.
Like,
Eric, I think you should.
Can you guys hear
rename
me
the
now?
video.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think you should rename the video
All right.
"Portrait of an EIE."
Okay.
ENE.
EIE, which is
Hello.
ENFJ.
Hi.
well, he's
Hi, folks.
he was-
Host Eric here. Host of Talking with End People. The question that was posed, and I think it's an interesting one, is about empathy. How many of us feel as though we either lack empathy when dealing with other people, or
How do we feel?
otherwise,
Mhm.
or otherwise display schizoid kind of behaviors. I've been accused of lacking empathy when talking to other people plenty of times. I don't believe I lack empathy, but I do believe that, for example, if I make somebody cry, I'll probably feel really bad. But if I make them mad, I'll probably not feel bad. So if I make somebody sad, I'll feel bad. If I make somebody mad, I'll want to fight them. So that's my take on it. Let's go around and get everybody's brief take on it. Then we'll ask Sound Vector to extrapolate off what he's heard. Okay? Spacey, do you feel a lack of empathy when talking to other people? Do you feel bad if
Me?
you hurt someone's feelings?
Me?
Spacey.
definitely feel bad if I hurt someone's feelings.
Spacey. So
I would say I do feel empathy towards people. I wish ill will on very, very, very few people. Like, someone has to repeatedly demonstrate that they're a complete shitbag that doesn't care about anyone else before I stop caring about them. So,
hey, Katz, I know you have empathy for people. You're an INFP. So
I
I'm just
question
going
about
to answer
that.
for you.
Don't answer for me.
Oh, you do? Okay.
No, I'm
All right.
curious.
Oh, sorry.
if
My bad.
I'm curious though if I do really accurately feel how other people feel though, because I mean, there's no way for me to 100% know
But
what they're experiencing.
if you make somebody cry, do you feel bad about having done so?
Yeah.
Oh, Eric, your audio.
If
I remember the first time I made somebody cry. It's a really, really vibrant memory. It's like,
happiest day of your life. Okay. So Katz, okay, it's interesting that you have more doubt of your own empathy than I have of your empathy, because I drew some assumptions based on the fact that you are not very intimately familiar with introverted feelings. So that's interesting that you have a little more doubt about that than I voiced, and thank you for voicing it. And I'm sorry for trying to answer for you. Neptune, what are your thoughts? Neptune's got a type. Neptune, you have a goddamn microphone. You have thoughts as well. You're lying again. INFJ, what do you think?
I think Neptune's
I just feel
on-
general feels when FE is happening. She says, okay, well, do you feel sad when you make someone cry? Like the other day when you insulted me and you said my face looked like an old shoe and I started weeping. Did you feel bad? That is absurd. It is absurd, huh? You're too tough to feel bad when you make me cry. Okay, so let's see. How about you, Audra? You got any empathy in you? A little bit?
A little bit, maybe sometimes. I can feel bad when I make someone cry. I think. Usually I'm just confused.
Nice.
I'm not good at predicting when it's
Okay.
going to happen. I'll admit to that. It's like, wait, what are you doing?
I've not seen you be mean, Audra. I've seen myself be mean on occasion.
Audra, it could be like
Not usually
Putin,
mean.
1-1.
But
All right, Susie, what do you think? Do you feel like you have empathy?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. She might not display it much, but. All right, how about you? Whatever your name is, something INTP. It's like raw INTP? RA INTP, is that what this is?
The intention
co-
was Rain, but you can call me Tim. And
Okay, hi, Tim.
hi, Eric. People use the word empathy to mean different things in terms of
That's true.
feeling what other people are feeling. I don't. Like, if someone is hurt, I don't feel that hurt that they're feeling. It doesn't mean I want them to hurt, or I try to make someone hurt, but I don't feel it.
Yeah, that's well put.
When you're responsible for harm, how much guilt do you endure, and is the flavor of that guilt intellectual or emotional?
I would say that it's intellectual and not emotional.
Okay. All right, Michael, I'd like to hear your
Yeah.
thoughts on this. I think there is a distinction to be drawn between the intellectual guilt and response to something and emotional guilt and response. Do you find the emotional response more authentic, or do you have any thoughts on this, or what?
I find the idea that any type could technically experience emotional intelligence, and there is a lot of facts out there that prove that psychopathy has a form of empathy switch. So technically, a person can become, emotional, even if it's not in their nature. It's not really in my nature to make videos about myself, exposing myself being a narcissist, 20% even. And I think that other people could also make some forms of sacrifice to, tell humanity the truth, or people the truth, and not hide behind intellectual facades and confuse people's reality with their own personal gain, for whatever they're doing, for whatever they're like. And that to say that, I would say that having both an intellectual side and an emotional side, that there should be a balance between the two. There should be a balance between negative values and positive values. And I think that a lot of the time people should consider multiple perspectives on things. So whatever everybody said in this group, I would like to say that, you guys were fairly decent with your idea of having empathy, but other individuals probably are just maybe so much abused or so much, I was around 6 stepdads who were narcissists. One of them was a grandiose narcissist, and he tried to change my world on like my perspective on the world. So I had alterations of people in my life that kind of confused my way of seeing the world. And because of that, I would say that maybe if you guys experience the same thing, then maybe events could lead to you having less empathy, then that would be okay. But those events they have to be specific events. And generally people who are simply, assholes and being, pretending to be psychopathic or whatever, pretending to be overly intellectual as very shallow individuals, missing to see the full picture of a better society and a better future of evolving beings for human intelligence and prospective thinking into how the world will be like.
But isn't it possible that we ought to prioritize this emotional intelligence in certain contexts and prioritize detachment, which you call an intellectual facade? Shouldn't we prioritize that in perhaps some other areas where we require objectivity?
Yeah. Well, certainly there is objectivity, but I'm talking about narcissism in general. That means that real emotional empathy for other people, not pseudo pacific or whatever, not pseudo emotions, real
What's
emotions
the
for
difference?
people. Real emotions
But I mean, how?
Okay, the difference between real emotions is real emotions have real consequences behind them, and at the same time, real emotions also give you real values, give you things similar to real empathy. And I don't know, if people can experience empathy, then that's kind of a different story.
Why is the thinking-based framework less real than the feeling-based framework?
Because the thinking-based framework is easy to form a way of having power over other individuals, while the emotional way of seeing things is very hard to, fake, for example, because emotions, they give out your current feeling and they give out your definition of how you analyze every single moment of your life and society. So I think that thinking is very much easy to manipulate into perspective.
Okay, so when you talk about feelings being real and less easy to fake, do you mean fake to other people? And if so, who's the adjudicator on whether an emotion is real or fake? Is it the person observing or the person having the emotion?
I think it's both of them. It is the final outcome, and it is the idea of how other events will follow up after the interaction between two people. There isn't. Some things play out in simultation instead of singular forms of reacting. It can be one or the other.
So
it's both. It is
two people.
It is the combination.
But hold on. If two people are engaged in making a decision, let's say, and one of the two parties factors in the emotions of everybody involved more than the other. The other person says, well, it's true there's going to be some hurt feelings here, but we should prefer the mechanism because blah, 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 blah. Now, they part ways, okay?
Uh-huh.
The emotion has been expressed and understood by both parties. The intellect maybe has been understood by the emotional party or maybe not. We're not sure. But only one of them is objectively verifiable, and that's the introverted thinking approach. So if the decision affects multiple people, ought we not prefer the introverted thinking approach? Or is that just an intellectual distancing of myself from the actual real world?
Dissenting. Okay, yeah. I see your question. Okay, dissenting intellectual worlds. Okay, you're talking about thinking inside the box and outside the box about intellectual thinking, right?
No, I'm saying you're talking about emotions and intellect sometimes coming into conflict, and you're saying that when they don't, it's because intellect is making a approximation.
A right emotional choice. Correct.
Okay. So what I'm pointing out is that I haven't heard a reason as to why we should assume that an actual emotion is more real than an actual thought. My point being that if we're dealing with a decision that affects multiple people, oughtn't we prefer the introverted thinking approach, which at least can be referenced by everybody fairly? If we prefer an emotional outcome, it's that individual's emotion that individual possesses. They're the only ones who can tell us whether or not we've achieved the outcome.
Well, those individuals, they could form. Well, it's not what they tell you, it's what they are internally. This is kind of like a question of faith than a question of a calculation. It is the understanding that if people are more honest, then we create a better society. But it's not the idea that, let's say, if a person is emotional and he tells you how emotional he is, and you take that in as a part of intellectual nature, I guess it works too, yeah. But the idea is actually his entire lifespan from, okay, I know it's hard to register that, but okay, let's see.
Okay, but let's say I do prioritize the emotions of these individuals. Don't I necessarily then deprioritize when they come into conflict the objective logical consistency of a TI justification that everybody can reference in favor of the individual particular situation, even if it's at the expense of the well-being of the system as a whole? For example, isn't it equivalent to saying, let's put out this forest fire because it's going to kill all those nice bunnies, even though the forest needs the fire to destroy some of it so that it can remain healthy and produce more environment for more bunnies in the future? It seems to me that you are saying let's prioritize burning letting the forest burn at all because we don't want to hurt anybody, even though it's a terribly harmful decision to do if we step back and look at it logically.
That's right. That is exactly how it is. It's like because look, we have cows, right? Okay, cows regenerate them. They regrow themselves 65% of the time. That's why they're chosen as the animal that we eat. in society. But at the same time, if you take it, it's like, oh, is it normal